Welcome to this short introduction to a decision grid for setting up your knowledge management strategy. I will explain shortly how I have defined this strategic decision grid for knowledge management, which in particular applies for larger organizations. Most probably, you will recognize this three-dimensional knowledge management model, which covers first of all, the process. The process of sharing, collaborating, learning and continuous improvement in your organization. Secondly, technology. Technology that facilitates and enables the knowledge management process, which is in place, and particularly where distant collaboration in different time zones is involved. The people aspect covers the leadership, competence and the will of the people in your organization to execute the process using the technology in place. All three are equally important and need to be well balanced and aligned. Often, content is added as the fourth dimension. It covers more the information management aspects. Information, which can be more considered as an outcome after the learning process, when generated knowledge is made explicit. For the development of the decision grid, the content element has been left out. Altogether, these three dimensions represent a useful way of mapping activities and set focus in your knowledge management program. However, the question is, does this model reflect sufficiently the complexity of larger organizations? So, what is actually missing? First, the extent to which knowledge management is being controlled. In the field of knowledge management, there are different lines of thought about this subject. Whether one should leave room for exploration and self-directedness, or steer the direction of knowledge management activities, for instance, led by the company's strategy. In fact, it is about the level of governance you believe that needs to be in place, versus the level of trust that you have that people will focus on the right things by themselves. Obviously, it is an important factor to take into account, as it will influence your strategic choices. Secondly, what is the geographical spread of your knowledge management implementation? Is it a local implementation? Or does it cover the entire organization, worldwide, with multiple locations? Again, a factor which will affect the process of collaboration, but also impacts your technological choices. Finally, there is an impact of functional and organizational boundaries on your knowledge management implementation. Next to the country cultural aspects, in a multinational company, also functional blood groups have their specific organizational and cultural characteristics. Also, these need to be taken into account. It is therefore that I defined three additional dimensions to the existing model of process, people, and technology. The first one is about the level of autonomy in the organization. It is the difference between a top-down and a bottom-up strategy in your knowledge management implementation. In a bottom-up approach, collaboration and knowledge sharing takes place in an organic, natural and spontaneous way of working, where people are seeking for collaboration by themselves. It is based on their day-to-day needs. In the top-down approach, a more managed, controlled and steered way of working is driving the knowledge management implementation. Very often, driven by a company's strategic objectives. The two ends of the spectrum, for sure, bring in their own characteristics. The second dimension is about the geographical spread. It is the difference between a local knowledge management program and a program that covers the organization on a global scale. Again, the difference between the two of them is impacting your strategic choices. Implementing knowledge management does require strong attention to change management. It is asking different things from people and adjustment in ways of working. You can imagine the difference in change management efforts whether it concerns a local implementation or a global one. The last additional dimension is dealing with functional disciplines and boundaries in your organization. The implementation is impacted differently if it is only for a single discipline or goes across functional disciplines, each of them with its specific characteristics. For instance, an implementation within the financial discipline only, or only for the human resources, takes a different approach than an implementation involving multiple functional disciplines, all with their own requirements, based on different specific business processes. Looking at these three additional dimensions, you can imagine they will influence the choices you make for your knowledge management strategy. It is therefore interesting to blend them with the existing model of process, people, and technology. As you can see, after combining the two of them, I have combined the two of them, resulting in a grid of multiple dimensions. The advantage of having this grid is that it forces you to think about the different choices you can make in your knowledge management and your knowledge management in order to have the best fit in your specific situation. For instance, your choice in technology requirements for a bottom-up strategy in a global implementation across functional disciplines will be a different one than for a local implementation. Think about the number of license agreements, or the choice to have standalone applications, yes or no. In this next example, the choices you make in a top-down, global implementation within one functional discipline will be different in case it becomes a cross-functional one. The requirements of your supply chain organization most probably will differ from the ones from your commercial discipline. And finally, the people aspect in a bottom-up local implementation across functional disciplines will be entirely different if it becomes a global implementation, in particular referring to the change management effort required. I would like to emphasize that this is not about being right or being wrong in the strategic choices that you make. The decision grid supports you in exploring the best fit for your organization to make your implementation a success and truly add value to your business. Of course, there are more details to discuss on any of the 18 sections in the grid. For this video presentation, this would take a bit too long. But if you are interested, please contact us via change2learn.com. For now, I would like to thank you for watching and looking forward to your feedback.